خواتین.
Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience. Your call is now first in line and will be answered by the next available representative. Thank you for your patience.
Through to SDS, how can I help?
Yes, good afternoon. Can I ask who I'm speaking to?
You're speaking to Malika.
Oh, hi Malika, it's Mr. Hussain here. We've spoken previously, my attempts to speak to Dr. Connolly, and so I think, did we speak on Friday?
I can't remember.
I think I spoke earlier on the week, Monday, I think. I'm not sure. Yeah. But just obviously today's the last day.
You won't be on our system anymore today. You do need to be looking for another DP now.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm not. Obviously, I've been quite clear about that. But the bottom line is, I've still made a subject access request for my disclosure.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't need any medical assistance.
Yeah.
And therefore, if I do need medical assistance, I'll make my own provisions. But obviously, those still those 2 points that I still need to get some resolution on. And first off, can you please update me on Dr. Connolly's ability to contact me? Because I've sent emails as well now.
You're no longer with us now. So Dr. Connolly did say that you do need to be looking at other practices now.
I understand this, and I've been attempting to speak to Dr. Connolly prior to today, haven't I?
You have done, yes.
Yes. So the information that I'm getting back has been the same consistently from yourself, that I need to find another practice, and that's like a bit of a broken record now, isn't it? Because I understand this, but I've also made it quite clear that I won't be going to another practice.
You did do, and but the doctor still says that you do need to look for another practice now. You're no longer with us now after today.
Yes,
so
I understand.
Give you plenty of time to look.
But it's like I'm sorry, it's like speaking like on a broken record. I've made it quite clear that I won't be looking.
That's fine. That's your choice.
Yes. So why do you keep? That was made very clear to Dr. Connolly. That is not the dispute. That might be a priority on your part. It's not a priority on my part, is it? And for you to frame the subject that, we've given you enough time, you should have found somebody else. That is not the framework that I'm working under. I don't care about registering with somebody else. And Dr. Connolly is aware of what I am interested in. What my perspective is, that I wanted to speak to Dr. Connolly. I've been attempting to speak to him regarding his decision I can speak to him directly. And this aspect of refusing to speak to me up until today with the new pretext now that you're no longer a patient, it's irrelevant, isn't it? Because whether I'm a patient or not, I would only need to be a patient if I was looking to get some medical attention from your practice. The reality is that irrespective of whether I'm a patient or not, there's still an outstanding subject access request, disclosure of my records. So I've previously spoken to your colleague Zam, who's told me...
Can I just take your date of birth?
Yeah, sure. It's the 22nd of the 2nd, 77.
Right. I'm just checking if you're showing up on our system. No, you're definitely not now.
No, but no. I mean, sorry. When I spoke to, because you understand, previously my understanding was that I was going to be removed on the 19th, not the 21st. When I spoke to your colleague previously, she said, "Well, we still have a duty of care, so it doesn't really matter." So, that's hence why I have made the request request early on. and I've explained to yourself that all you required a printout. So if you're not showing on your system, that's not my fault, is it? It's like I made the request early on while you did have my records. And for you to say, well, no, actually, when I'm making the claim that you're basically kicking me out the door, and you say, no, we're not doing that. Well, it does kind of seem that way, doesn't it? Because I've made a request for my records. And those have not been facilitated. You've told me you got 30 days. But then, like, now you're telling me you don't have access to the records. So that was kind of like a sly move, isn't it? Because I still need a full disclosure of my records. Number one.
And the best thing to do is, if you register in the practice, they'll be able to help you with that.
Malika, this is getting very, very frustrating now. I need to make it quite clear, so I'm going to slow down now. I will not be registering with another practice.
So that is your decision.
Yes.
We can't force you to do that.
So you're manipulating me though, aren't you? You're manipulating me. Yes, you are, and I'll explain to you, because I said I want access to my records, and you said, well, if you go register with somebody else. And I said, it's like getting quite frustrating now, because as you can appreciate, I've said I will not be registering with somebody else. This is hence why I made, in ample time, and it only takes you 2 minutes, literally, you have to press a button and print out the records. You chosen not to do that. Also, with regards to my Lloyd George records, those are still in the ether somewhere that I don't know about. I mean, you still have a duty of care to me. The only reason that I would require to register if I had medical needs, I've never had medical needs. So that's not a priority for me. What is a priority for me is the malevolence and fraud and deception that I've been subjected to. Now you can say, no, Mr. Hussain, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm not claiming that you have committed fraud or deception or malevolence. But what I am claiming is that there is a higher authority or somebody else in the background pulling the strings. Hence why it's quite clear to me why my Lloyd George records didn't follow me to this practice within the appropriate time period. It's also quite clear and evident to me why now Dr. John Connolly is refusing to speak to me. And so I'm not leveling allegations against you, Malika. I'm leveling allegations against Dr. Connolly for his refusal to engage with me. Now, the next step is that if I don't get engagement from Dr. Connolly, I'm going to have to report this to the General Medical Council, and it's going to escalate the matter further. I don't want to escalate the matter further. The reason I'm looking to speak to Dr. Connolly is for the direct purposes of gaining clarity of understanding. All right, because evidently I was with yourself more than 12 months, and that was on an agreement between me and Dr. Connolly. Subsequently, Dr. Connolly has negated on that agreement and unilaterally, without further notice, delisted me at the start of August through a letter without engaging with me. And I just want to get some clarity on this. And I think the best person that I need to speak to is Dr. Connolly. Now, can I ask why can I not speak to Dr. Connolly?
The doctors, all he advised me was that you are eligible to move into practice.
Oh my God!
Have given you, he's kept you. He did give you the leeway to stay as well.
When did he give me the leave? When did he give me the leeway to stay?
Wasn't it yourself that advised me this?
Well, we had an agreement, but like I said, I mean, irrespective of that, I feel very aghast at the fact that I'm having to deal with you, Malika, and with, like I said, you're a reception staff, and I feel the fact that Dr. Connolly is hiding behind his reception staff, so I have to engage with you as a proxy agent for Dr. Connolly. What is preventing me from speaking to Dr. Connolly, and what is preventing Dr. Connolly from directly liaising with me?
Jad, I'm really sorry, but there's only so much that I can tell you, okay?
I know you are.
Nothing more else I can tell you.
Okay.
All I can say is you're no longer with us now, and there's so much that I can do for you. Okay?
Yeah, and I understand, but can you understand that I don't have a personal relationship with you, do I? You're not my doctor. And you
I do understand, and I have spoke, and I did... we did send a message to Dr. Connolly, but he says that you need to be advised that you need to be moving to a new practice.
I know I know.
There's nothing else that I can tell you.
Okay, but you don't understand. I mean, then obviously, then I need to make Dr. Connolly aware that because of his conduct and behaviour, I'm going to have to escalate this and allocate more resources.
You are in your full rights to escalate this.
Well,
okay?
I know my rights. I'm not asking permission from you. I'm not
really. Okay, after today, there's so much I can do for yourself now.
Okay, so what can you do?
For yourself.
All right, so what can you do then?
I can do nothing for you from today.
Why? Because you're still obliged to give me my records, aren't you?
No.
What do you mean no?
You're not with us. You need to be registering with another practice, and they will
Look,
do that for you.
but I made my subject access request whilst I was registered with you,
Yeah.
wasn't I? So I made it in
Yeah.
ample time, and you could have done that. You could have complied with that request. So where are you telling me today that from today onwards you're going to have no engagement with me at all, and you're not going to comply to my record request?
Unfortunately, that is correct. We can't. I can't get into your record anymore.
But this is not what your colleague has advised me when I was concerned about
I'm
this.
not sure what my colleague advised you. She's no longer here with us.
Okay,
so
all
I
right.
can't ask her.
Okay. Well, that's fair enough. But you still, irrespective of my medical records, you're still recording these calls, aren't you?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. So these calls are still my data, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Yes, it is. So this is my data, and so as part of my subject access request, you are still obliged to comply with the law, and the law is under the Data Protection Act.
Right.
You have access to
So-
my medical records. So
Jad,
will you?
I'm gonna have to go because
Why?
I've got lots of calls coming through.
But you haven't finished. You haven't finished dealing with me yet. Are you going to comply?
Really, there is nothing else that I can do for you right now. You're no longer on our record, love.
Yeah.
I've just tried to
First of
explain
all,
that to you.
first of all, I don't appreciate being called love. I've not been disrespectful to yourself
Okay,
using
that's
this
fine.
terminology.
I apologise for
Okay,
that. I
no,
apologise
okay,
for
all right,
that.
that's fair
But
enough. Don't
Jad,
you
all I
know,
want to
just
say
hold
is
on.
that I cannot help you anymore. I
But
need to go because I've got calls coming through.
Okay, that's fair enough. I've been waiting on this call for a long time as well. They can wait. Hello? Absolutely horrendous. Look at this, the way they're kicking me out the door now. Absolutely horrendous, isn't it? Look at this. All right? They advised me that I am within my rights to... They have still a duty of care, so they waited until the 21st of September, which is today. They waited, delayed, obfuscated, discombobulated, and now telling me that I can no longer have anything further to do with them, kicked me out the door, Dr. Connolly refused to speak to me, and the reason that Dr. Connolly is refusing to speak to me is because Dr. Connolly's services have been privately commissioned out by Bradford Council social workers under some contrivance of safeguarding. He's removed me from the list. He's obviously accepted the fact that I've given given him a request for subject access disclosure request, which has not been furnished. And they've told me, Zam, I think it was, told me, don't worry about it. Just because we delist you or deregister you, we still have access to your records and we will be providing that. I recorded this all information. The doctors are still obliged to deal with me, and now what they're saying is that we're basically leaving you in a situation where you got no access to nothing. Go register with somebody else, forcing me to register with a different practice as they have done so in the past, forcing me to do things that I don't want to do. I've been very, very clear and articulate that there's clearly fraud and deception taking place. They've effectively got my medical records. They're telling me, oh, we did not receive your Lloyd George record. So they've stolen the medical records of my Lloyd George. Why is it? And then obviously I was asked to speak to Dr. Connolly. He's refusing to speak to me. Why? Because he's unilaterally delisted me without informing me, it's just horrendous the fact that they can just get away with this. Now, Dr. Connolly has waited, delayed, refused to speak to me. I've sent him an email. As a consequence of sending the email, I've lodged formal complaints, oral complaints, which I've recorded, and recorded everything. And that's why it's good that I recorded things. I too should have a right to record things, because the reality is that if they record things, they will then say, no, look, we're no longer obliged. You're no longer our patient. We no longer want to deal with you, and effectively kicking me out the door. So that's exactly what the previous practice did, which was Peel Park Surgery, Dr. Jar, when all I did was make subject access requests for my records, which I feel I'm entitled to, which they agree that I'm entitled to. They kicked me out the door, then made some pretext up in August 2021 that that I was being aggressive and abusive, and the police had to be called. So they delisted me unilaterally from there in August 2021, and then that's how I ended up with Bevan Healthcare under SIS or SAS as an aggressive, violent patient. I've not engaged with these people at all for the time that I've been there. So we're now in September 2023. For sort of period of 2 years, I have not engaged with them. I spoke to Dr. Connolly previously. We had quite a amicable conversation. I said I don't want to be going to register with the mainstream practice, and the reason I don't want to be registering with the mainstream practice is because every time I do register with any kind of mainstream practice, it's on system 1, and the local authority have backdoors into my medical records and effectively look to destabilize and undermine and subvert the relationship, the private and confidential relationship I have with my GP practice. So because of that reason, I won't be doing this. And how does this leave me in any further confidence? It is evidently clear that Dr. Connolly is refusing to speak to me because he was received instructions regarding my arrest on the 8th of August, and he was preemptively informed and advised he could speak to me, he could just have a conversation with me, but he's refusing to engage with me. You can see this Malika, she's saying, oh no, we're not trying to kick you out the door like this, we're not just trying to push you out. No, we wouldn't do that. But the reality is that you've just slammed the phone upon me. You're telling me that, there's other callers waiting. Yes, I was also another caller waiting. I was the first caller. I had to wait about 15-20 minutes on this call, as is evidence from this call recording. So I was waiting for a substantial amount of time, waiting for to be heard. And as soon as I've come on board, they said, oh, well, look, let me just take your date of birth. Let me just check. Oh, no, you're not on our system anymore. You were clearly informed. I was clearly advised that I was not going to be on your system. So I preemptively made a subject access request. And when I made that subject access request, you gave me assurances that, oh, it doesn't matter if after the deadline date, we're still going to give you your records. Now, I've made a formal complaint orally, all right, regarding the conduct and behavior of Zam, I believe, who was engaging with me, and I don't know if it was Zam or Malika, who was refusing to tell me the name of the manager. They don't have a practice manager. They're not giving me the name of the practice manager, which I believe that they're entitled to have a practice manager or to manage the practices. There was nobody taking my complaints, and now as a consequence of their malevolence, their fraud and their corruption, you see how I've been basically led down a garden path and kicked off the end simply because of their need to collude and conspire with the local authority according to their negative and malevolent agenda. And it's not just me. What most people don't realize is that all GP practices in reality work like this. They don't work private, confidential records. We're here to act in your best interest. We're giving you medication and helping and assisting you freely under the NHS. No. That's not correct. They are farming you as people, and they have full access to your healthcare medical records. And when you ask them certain questions, they look to discombobulate and confuse the situation. Now, I have restricted myself to speaking to them previously on the telephone. So I've been trying to engage with them for a month now. They're just basically, effectively treating me with disdain and contempt under clear prejudice, because they have told me, Dr. Connolly is still looking at the task, he's still looking like this. And today they're telling me, go register with a different practice, No, we don't need to register with a different practice. This registration with the GP practice is a fraud in itself. I can assure you, not many people know this, but registering with the GP practice, up and down the country, all the population is registered with the GP practice. It's a fraud. Most people don't know this. All right, because they go, no, how is it a fraud? I can go choose a different GP practice. I can, if I'm not happy with one GP practice, I can go find another GP practice. It doesn't matter which GP practice you go to. You do not get something for nothing in this world. You do not get free medication on the NHS. You don't get anything for free where they're not turning you into a product. You are then a product. Once you become registered with the GP practice, you are the GP or the NHS's product that they then sell to the big pharmaceutical companies. So you're the product that they're selling to the pharmaceutical companies so they can medicate you. This is the reality of the situation. You can see, why is this Dr. Connolly refusing to speak to me? I've been patient, waiting around to speak to him, and he's quite clearly colluding and conspiring with everybody else, and he does not just want to address me. This is simply ridiculous. I've raised a formal complaint orally. That's been disregarded. I put a subject access request in for my records. That's simply been disregarded. He has a duty of care to the, and he's just not abiding by any duty of care. All he wants to do is just basically run away now. I was bought to this Bevan Healthcare under false pretenses, and now I've been kicked out of Bevan Healthcare under similarly fraudulent and false pretenses, forcing me to get on a broken record, register somewhere else, register somewhere else, register somewhere else, register somewhere else. I don't care about the registration. I've been with you for 2 years. I'm not going to take any of your medication. I'm not going to take any of your bullshit lies and deception. All I want to know is just clarity of information. Under what circumstances have you kicked me out the door? And the reality is that I fear that he may be now registered. My brother Talib may be registered with him, and that's why he wants nothing further to do with me. This is quite clearly orchestrated by the Safeguarding Adult Board, namely Bradford Council, who are taking control of the situation and the residents and effectively making them prisoner, their own serfdom, where they collude and conspire with all the GP practices, the pharmacies, the doctors, the courts, everything. I mean, this is just an example of malevolence at a high degree and tyranny. I'm just reminding myself that this is exactly what the social workers did previously. They got into my mother's records and changed a correspondent address without making me aware or informing me to my sister's address, and then try to get the medication moved from my house or my mum's house to my sister's house. And luckily Robert's Pharmacy contacted me, and I pulled them up on this fraud and deception that they tried to carry out then. It's all the same playbook. They make it seem that the GPs, the GP practices, the independence of the GP practices, they're all separate, but yet in Bradford they're all on System 1, which has back doors to allow council social workers into your records. It's all fraud, it's all deception, and you can see that this just clearly highlights this deception. As you can see, I'm very, very alarmed and distressed that simply she just slammed the phone upon me, said, I'm no longer a patient, basically we no longer have a duty of care to you, get lost, and they still have a legal duty of care to disclose my records to me. They still have a legal duty of care to provide me with information that I'm requesting from them. And what they're looking to do is they're looking to hide behind their corporate veil, looking to hide behind their professional titles as GPs and doctors, and refusing to engage with me, refusing to have anything further to do with me, all under the direct instructions and directions from Bradford Council social workers who have got caught out committing fraud and corruption and murdering my family members. I was clear and articulate to Dr. Connolly previously, and they were giving me some spiel then, and look at this, look at the way I've been treated. All right, I've been waiting on this call for such a long time, and basically she just slammed the phone upon me because she's received instructions from Dr. Connolly. Tell him that when he's no longer a patient here, and go find himself another place, because I don't want to speak to him. And the reason he does not want to speak to me is because he has basically just got caught out committing fraud and corruption and colluding with the council, and he does not want to come on record to, having to address my questions and refusing to engage with me on the telephone. And now he's hiding behind the corporate veil, hiding behind his juniors, namely staff members, such as reception staff, and this is a recurring theme. All the people, all the senior individuals, such as GPs, such as chief executives, such as people of prominence in position of authority, they usually don't want to liaise with you directly. They usually front one of their puppets or muppets to put in front, and this Malika is evidently just another puppet or another muppet that they want to put in front, so I can only speak to Malika, and they're hiding behind the corporate veil, they're hiding behind their position. This is a GP who is responsible for the care of many other vulnerable people that are being forced to go to them, and this is now a recurring theme, isn't it? It's like consistently that's what they do. They hide behind the reception staff, they hide behind junior staff, they hide behind apprentices, they hide behind students, front them into the difficult situation so they don't have to deal with it, and then they can have diminished responsibility through willful ignorance. I think that's what it's called. Diminished responsibility through willful ignorance. We didn't know what's going on. We don't know what. I don't know. When you should know. You bloody should know. I've been trying to speak to you on this matter for the last 3 weeks, all right? And you've refused to engage with me for 3 weeks, discombobulating the situation, telling me that, oh, Dr. Connolly's still going to deal with this task, and then eventually run away like a pusillanimous coward that they are. All cowards hiding behind the corporate veil. Disgusting and despicable. But this is how these people operate. They're getting public money, they're getting to serve the public, and ultimately what they want to do is they want to abuse their positions of authority and power and look to denigrate and put down members of the public such as myself. And so it's easier for the narrative that I was being aggressive. It's easier that I was being abusive and I was being hostile, and yet these people simply public servants doing their job, and I'm the aggressor and they're the professionals. Is this a professional way to behave when they slam the phone upon me? It's good that I recorded them, and it's good that I'm going to make all this public, because I'm sick to death of dealing with people that are malevolent, corrupt and fraudulent from the beginning. All of them are colluding and conspiring with each other in order to take advantage of the weak and vulnerable members of society under the placard and under the contrivance that, oh no, they're doing everything under law, they're abiding by the human rights, they're abiding by all the laws and protections and safeguards. All of it a lie, all of it bullshit, all of it despicable, all of it disgusting.